Welcome to No Place Like Home, a series where we talk with real users about one of the biggest impacts of their PS3 experiences, PlayStation Home. These are real stories that show how much home is missed and that even though home is gone, it is not forgotten. Hey, how you doing? Graham here, and I just wanted to make a quick note at the beginning of this video that the audio is a little wonky. There's a bit of an echo in the first 2 or 3 minutes, but after that, it's smooth sailing from there. So I just wanted to make a quick note for you to be aware of that, and without further ado, please enjoy the episode. Thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to me a little bit. So I saw that first video that you made about PlayStation Home with the BBC The Social. And that was just awesome, so I was very excited to see that. And I was like, well, I would love to follow this guy. And here we are talking, so that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I think what you're doing is awesome. I love the I've been trying to keep track of like different PlayStation Home communities across the internet. So it's cool what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. I this is like what, about a month. I think we're about a month into doing all this, and yeah, finding communities on PlayStation Home has been it's been a little hard because I mean there aren't too many of them, and the ones that there are haven't really been active since like honestly like 2012, 2013, even like before Home shut down. Yeah. So I was like, well, man, but yeah, it's nice to see a lot of people still are interested in it.
Yeah.
So how did that video pop up anyway? With BBC The Social, I'm just curious. So
how did the idea pop up? Yeah, it was like with the BBC, it's usually I get contacted by the producer there and he's like, hey, do you have a video idea? And it was the start of lockdown and I was getting very nostalgic. And so I was going back and I was playing Minecraft and shit like that. I was like playing Minecraft for months straight. And I was like in the zone of when I was like whatever age I was back in 2012 or whatever. And I started thinking about PlayStation Home a lot because I think we started playing VR chat around that point. And I was like, yeah, this is very much reminiscent of PlayStation Home, but a lot more interesting. Let's say that's a good word for VR chat. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. So like all the memories just started popping up and I was like, yeah, I'll do a video on this. This is great. Get exposure for that. Maybe Sony will look at it since it's on the BBC.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So before we get into like the actual questions I want to ask you about, I wanted to talk about the elephant in the room real quick, and that's yesterday was a big day for PlayStation and PlayStation 5. I saw you tweeted that you were excited about God of War 2. Oh, baby.
God of War.
So is that the main thing that you were like, let's go about, or is there anything else?
There was the Hogwarts game because I like growing up I was a big Harry Potter fan and I've always wanted like an open world RPG set in that world. So I was like really stoked about that. And then God of War, I only recently got into God of War because of the recent game just there. And I was like ecstatic about that. I was really hyped because I love Nordic shit. I love the Nordic religions and pagan religions and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool just to play this game. I'm really really into it.
Right.
Yeah.
God. Well, yeah, that was a pretty good showcase. Although I gotta say, not really seeing like I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it, but it was just like it was cool, but I thought that they could have showed something a little, different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was like towards the end, I was streaming it with my friend Dan, and we were both like, "Yeah, that was good," but for some reason, it was missing something.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was missing. It's missing.
I just think that I guess like watching it, I'm like, this all looks great, but I can't like. There's nothing that really makes me go, oh, so this is what the PS5 has that the PS4 does not have. Because I feel like, all these games are coming. I'm like, well, I can see this on the PS4 too. Like, like there's not as big of a generational leap as there was between the PS3 and the PS4.
Yeah. And what, they announced yesterday after the conference that the new Horizon game, Spider-Man game, and then Ratchet and Clank and things like that are on PS4 as well. And I'm like, what's the point of upgrading then if I can play everything on PS4?
Right.
No, I don't need You pay $400 for that? Like, nah.
Yeah, I've seen at least like 4 people in my own social circle that are like, well, yeah, all I wanted really was like Spider-Man, and that's on PS4 right now, so like I guess I'll just wait to get the PS5. Same with a few of those other games too, like Call of Duty. So I'm like, well, okay.
That exists.
Yeah, like okay. And then everything else is just kind of like a remake or like a remaster or something like that. And I'm just like, I want something like new. Like there was that assassin. There was like some assassin Deathloop, I think it was called. They didn't do like a whole feature on it, but like they showed like a little, clip, and I was like, that seems pretty cool. I'd get into that. I think I'd get into that. But, all right. So now we're gonna talk about PlayStation Home. So
we can chat all day.
Yeah, we can chat all day about this, but what we're here for. So in one word, how would you describe PlayStation Home?
Relaxing.
Relaxing?
It's like you go home from work and then you go home to properly chill out and relax. I don't know, it's one of those games where, or one of those, not games, like experiences where, like right now I find myself on my computer and I'm like, I don't know what to play. I'm not really in the mood to do a shooter or go on this big grand adventure. I just sort of want to chill out somewhere. And I think home would fit right into that slot in my personal life, where I could just be like, I'll just chill out at home for a little.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's
Sociable butterfly.
Yeah. There's like some tweet where some girl was like, is there like a game where I don't have to fight anything or like collect anything or like do anything? I just want to like walk around, and I'm like, yeah, there is.
I remember, you retweeted that. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. It's like I saw that and I was like banging my head against the wall. I'm like, people are literally asking for this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This.
Exactly. So how did you first find out about PlayStation Home? Like, what was like that first experience like?
I remember that actually. Like, I had both the 360 and PS3, and I wanted to go online and play with my friends on the 360, but it was paid, and back then my parents were like, "No, we're not paying for a fucking online subscription. Not happening."
Right.
And so, like, discovered that it was free on PlayStation 3, and then at the time, I think I only had like one other game, which was like Resistance 2 and Guitar Hero 3, I think. Those are the 2 games I only had for the PS3. and then like obviously the home icon was on the hotbar, and I was like, go in, customize my character. I like that. That's cool. And then explored the areas, discovered game areas that are from one of my favorite games. I'm like, oh, this is great. It was just it was just fun to explore it. That's the fun part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, just having that, like, so many maps to just kind of go around and, chill out in, and then I feel like there's always something happening on home. Like, when you got on home, like, you were gonna get into something.
Yeah, there was some shenanigan adventure thing that was bound to happen.
Right. So, what did you enjoy about PlayStation Home, and what kept you coming back? Like, what's that thing that just hooked you right in?
The community experience, to be honest. That's like one of the core ingredients, was like the community aspect and meeting people. But yeah, it was like that was the main aspect, and then all the other stuff, like going and getting rewards and things like that, like trying to get all, like I said in the BBC video, like trying to get all the free apartments and things, because I didn't have money at the time, so I wanted a personal space that wasn't default.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, is there any way I can get this? And then trying to get the fucking Audi one was a nightmare.
Okay. Like you had to launch the car a certain length of or something.
And I actually remember watching a YouTube video on that years ago, trying to figure it out.
Like, how do you do it? I want this apartment.
Yeah, it was definitely the community aspect of it. Because I just remember, like my key memories of PlayStation Home were either sitting in someone's personal space and having like this massive group conversation, or the Siren Lounge, which is popular among people.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's been talking about Siren Lounge on those posts whenever I say something. They're like, oh, what kind of mini games? It's like Siren. Just make Siren. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I love those little like survival horror things. It's just it's great.
Oh yeah, I'm a massive fan of survival horror. So seeing something like that, PlayStation Home hooked, I was like,
but
yes,
imagine that in VR.
Man, that'd be amazing. Like,
that would
honestly,
be sick.
The thing is, like, back in the day, that's what sold me in Siren Blood Curse, because I never knew what the game was back in the day.
Yeah,
and,
seriously.
And I found out, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like, yeah, and you could, oh man.
I'm sorry if I'm hurting you with these ideas.
Especially when it comes to, I have a PSVR headset right there.
Yeah, so you're ready to go, dude. Just let me know when. Man. So did you meet anyone on PlayStation Home that you still keep in touch with, or anything like that?
Fortunately, no. I fell out. Well, not like fell out as in like negatively fell out. It was just like over the course of time, just like lost touch with a lot of people. Because I kept constantly switching platforms. So like my PS3 got the yellow light of death, and I'm like, all right, the Xbox 360, met everyone there, and went back to the PS3, and then went back to the Xbox. And so like, I think when I got a PS4, I did remember 2 names from the PlayStation Home days, and I added them both, but they were off doing their own thing nowadays, so I never got in touch with them. Like, one of them went off to do the army or something. Don't know him then. Hopefully he's still alive.
Hopefully he's a trooper. Oh man, when I was on PlayStation Home, I kept in touch with a few people. I still have one good friend today. But it was crazy because I remember it was during like the Summer Olympics where they were in London. I remember that specifically. So whatever year that was, there's this. Did you ever go to the MiB Space? The Men in Black.
No.
So there's a Men in Black space, and there was like this white. It was just like a white void room, pretty much, because like it's Men in Black. Everything's just white, and people love to roleplay there because you could either like when you signed in or whatever, you would either be a man in black or whatever, or you would be an alien. So the aliens had their own little part of the map, and then the Men in Black had their part of the map, and then there was like a huge role play thing where you would pretend like you're a Men in Black and you have your little blaster, and then you have like this command center, and then there's this one woman, her name was Roughneck, that was like her username. She would stand up there like with like the arms behind the back, just like add attention, and then people come up to her like, "Ma'am, we have aliens infiltrating the first floor corridor," and it's silly stuff like that, honestly, but people will be there forever. And I logged on during the Summer Olympics one time to check in, and I was talking to the Roughneck account, and the girl in there was like, "Oh yeah, that was my aunt. She died," and I was like, "Well." So I was like, "Well, dang." I was like, I guess we're not friends anymore then.
I guess that's done and literally dusty.
You're right. But that was such a crazy time, dude.
Like you said, like role playing. When you said role playing, I did remember back. I'm like, role playing was a massive part of PlayStation.
Super huge part.
Yeah, huge part.
Yeah. And that was one of my favorite parts about it. Just because that was like one of the most interesting. So, what was your favorite part about Home? What was your favorite memory?
My favorite memory. Oh, I can name a few. It was one, and I was a part of this clan thing back in the day. And I think I met them like in the Star Wars canteen, because that was like my main hub where I just went and talked to people. There's always the most unusual people there that I love to talk.
Right.
And I got recruited somehow. I don't know how it did, but I just got recruited into a clan, and I was like, all right, now I'm here. And they started having a battle in the middle of the cantina. And it was like this massive group of people just walked through the door, and then we all just got up like it was like a gang turf war or something.
Yeah.
It was literally, it's like one group here, and they just started shit talking each other like back and forth, and then doing like the custom animation shit with the rocket launchers. I was like, what is going on? This is amazing. Both amazing and both just crazy.
That's crazy, dude. So was that the clan that recruited you to the Godfather space?
Yeah,
Is that the one you were talking about? That one?
What was the clan? It was called Valor. The clan.
Of course they were.
Yeah, Valor. It was like a weird clan based off of some multiplayer game. Can't remember what them. They had like 3 factions, and then they just chose.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying me. It's one of those like little multiplayer games no one cared about, but for some reason on home everyone loved to buy the costumes for it.
I don't know what that'll be either, dude. So I'm just as blank as you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just imagining like rap battle or something like that. For some reason, just like a rap battle over like through like text, you know, like you're just waiting for the next line as like the little dots up there.
I remember we were on the dance floor and there was this one guy and you could see him like it was like the Facebook Messenger thing where it's like you see the bubbles and then it goes away and then it's bubbles again.
Yeah.
And for like 10 minutes like say something.
He's choking. He's choking.
We've got him on the ropes now. He's going to make a runner.
You got him on the rope. Oh, it's so funny, dude. Yeah, it's kind of funny now I think about it because back in like home days, I don't think a lot of people had microphones. Like, I feel like it was always just texting, and now everyone has a headset pretty much. But
what was it in? I think it was in personal spaces where you could use a voice chat, but in public lobbies you couldn't, right?
I think you might be able to invite people to a party in public lobby, and then you could like do that. I think that might have been a function, but I don't think you could just go out and start blurting.
Because I remember it was like you could make your own club, was it? And then
the club. I
remember like there was a wedding going on there, and I was invited to it, and then there was just everyone chat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. So you could voice chat if you were in someone's club. Yeah. So I feel like nowadays that would be like, I feel like they just have like proximity chat or something like that on, or I don't know.
Proximity. Good.
Mostly just because I feel like everyone has a mic these days. Not everyone, but a lot more people have mics these days. So it would just be full of conversation. Honestly, I don't know how does VR chat do it. I've never actually used VR chat.
It's proximity, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you'd have to be within 10 feet of someone to hear them. I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or else it would be. Oh.
Yeah. So it would be like that. So I don't know again how VR chat works. So is it just like when you're within 10 feet of somebody, you just hear them as if they're right next to you, or is it like a 3D object type of thing?
It's like a gradual thing. It's like
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like the closer you are to them, the louder they get, and then the farther away their voice stream.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I was wondering like if they implemented that in PS Home, like a new PS Home, like that would just be so chaotic. I feel it's like you're within 10 feet of like everybody.
Like have you played PUBG? Like,
bro, PUBG is what I do right now.
Like back in early access when it first came out, like the 100-man lobbies before you enter the game, everyone had voice chat, and it was
oh my lord,
it was amazing.
That
well, they did away with
it. That would stress me out.
Oh yeah.
Nah, when I was playing PUBG, I just started playing because it's like free on PS Plus like this month.
Right.
So that's like the first time I played it. And I was super paranoid that they had proximity chat on because I was like, well, dude, like, if am I gonna be like talking to my teammates and then like I get sniped because somebody heard me sneeze or something? Like,
I take advantage of that because like there was one time in PUBG where we had a Mexican standoff with someone in the house and the zone was coming in and they were trapped upstairs and we were like downstairs waiting for them to come down.
Right.
And I was like, I'm just going to start communicating with these people. And it turns out they were very nice people. And we both agreed to get in a car, drive into the zone, and then split off away from each other. And then we met back up again. And then we liked each other so much that we were trying to, like, tell each other our gamer tags. Like, oh yeah, it's A for Adam, B for blah, blah, blah. Because you couldn't actually see their names. And I was like, oh. I don't think they did the other, but, yeah.
That would be like a very, I can imagine that being like in some like stupid like parody video. It would be like a very emotional scene, like "What's your gamer tag?" and then he dies. And you're like, "No!" Oh god. there's a time in DayZ I was playing, and there's like this guy I met up with, didn't know him, but we were just kind of rolling together, and I got sniped like out of nowhere, and he was like screaming like no. Then I've never seen him again, and he was like my bud for like good like 15 minutes. But anyway, so you actually skinned over my next question about your experience with PlayStation Home clans, because I wasn't playing. So, good on us. We're making progress. Yeah. So did you have any like favorite spaces that you like to visit?
Let me think. See, I traveled to like a lot. I had like 4 PlayStation accounts of all the different regions, and I just kept going to all of them.
Okay.
I would say it's either between like a personal space is the Rapture from BioShock, and then public it was probably the Godfather Cave, definitely. Just because, I had some weird adventures.
Had some weird times there.
Yeah, there was one time I like hid out there because what was it back in the day? I don't know how, but I betrayed my own clan. And they were like, and every time I hopped to a different space, they were following me in crowds. And I was like, aha, I'll go to the secret space. You can only be invited. I just head out there. Properly Pablo Escobar sort of scenario.
Loki forgot about just hiding from people, honestly. Because, they could see where you were, I'm pretty sure, and they just go to you. Yeah. You just be like there with some other friends, and they pop up, and you're like, oh, this is awkward.
Yeah. You want to play bowling while we talk?
So the Godfather space, and the Rapture BioShock space. And wasn't the Godfather space? Didn't that become a place that you had to be invited to? Like,
that's the place you had to become invited to.
Yeah, so that was like the secret spot. Yeah. I liked the I think it was a personal space, but it was like a treehouse. It was like a treehouse personal space. It was like
is that the island thing?
I don't know if it was just like in the trees. Like it was in the trees.
Oh, it was in the trees. Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I remember I think it was a teaser trailer for.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember like what it was, but I remember that there was this like Avatar type of tree structure, home tree like thing. But that was awesome, and like man, I like the beaches too. The beaches were nice. There are a couple of them, but
that was that the beach where they had last 60 seconds. The last 60 minutes of PlayStation Home video recorded?
I think it was like something hideaway or something like that. And like they had a little like you could walk out onto like the dock, and they have like the cabins with you could see under the floor, and people would sit in there.
The glitches about.
Dude.
I'll shoot back to it.
Yeah, and in all these conversations I've had with people, I think this is like the third one. But like in both the last ones, people would say something, and then I'm like, bro, I didn't even remember that. Like I didn't even like thank you for unlocking that memory for me. There's so much about that just kind of happens. It just floods back. So what did PlayStation Home mean to you? How did it impact you?
I would say back in the day, I think back in school, definitely, I was more shy than I am today. And I think it helped me with a lot of my social skills, to be honest. At least back then. Definitely. It like forced me to interact with people even though like there's nothing else to do. Well, because the social aspect is the main mechanic of the game, it sort of forced you to have conversations with people. So it's like yeah, it definitely helped me out there. I think what it means, I don't know. I would say it will always hold like a special place in my heart. Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to look for like a key word to this, but my brain is just not working.
All good. I know how that feels.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it.
But it helped you with your social skills when you were shy.
Yeah, back in school, like because because over here in Scotland, it's I think I was in second year high school, which would have been when I was 11, something like that. I think 12. Yeah,
12.
yeah, I think something like that.
Jeez.
I'm trying to like picture it because I'm like 23 now, so I'm like trying to go backwards in time, and I'm bad
Right.
at math. So like,
I'm bad at math, so that's not working too well. No judgment here. No judgment here. Yeah, that I understand too. That like that helped me a lot when I was younger, when I was shy. But that was like my first introduction to the online community, because I like you, I didn't really like have many like online games. So PlayStation Home was like what I used to kind of go like, oh, people exist. That's crazy.
Yeah. People are exist and are also kind of weird.
Also kind of weird, dude. Man, people on Home were so weird. Like it's cool though, Like I like that. I like that. Yeah, it's good. It's good home weird. That's like the brand, I guess.
Yeah.
So if Home were still around today, when you're 23 and not 11, 12, or etc., what would you want to be? What would you want to be different, and what would you want to stay the same?
I would say most of it I would want staying the same. I would like more event, as in like, see how you have gaming events nowadays like E3, Gamescom, things like that. I would like more like gaming celebration.
Yeah.
Home,
Mm-hmm.
Have like imagine like you go into like the home square, and it's like, let's say Oktoberfest, but without the app. And you would just have like a bunch of stalls with like a bunch of horror games. You walk up and play like a quick demo or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
It's streamed as well because they can use PS Now.
Yeah, that would be sick. That would be sick.
Like you could do stuff like that. I think that would be really engaging, to be honest. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Like I guess I was thinking about this too. So yeah, you want to have like more like gaming celebration spaces, but you could have like like game demos, or you could even like integrate it like with, I don't know, maybe integrate the store somehow. So like you have access to these things. Like that would be cool. Make it like a part of the system. Yeah,
because I would like more stuff like the Siren Lounge, because you do have like game spaces, like official game spaces, like the Resident Evil 5 one, and what was it? There's an Uncharted one and things like that.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
but it'd be cool if they like attempted to recreate the game experience inside Home.
Yeah.
Like and then towards the end, like you get a reward, and it's like, hey, you can go check out the game.
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be really dope. Be good advertising too, because like you said, like you and I we did not know what Siren Blood Curse was until that event. So
even then, like I remember standing outside of the Siren Blood Curse thing, watching the trailer in the little TV.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this guy next to me, and he was talking to some lass about a game called Everwild or something like that. It was like this MMO for free in PSN. It was like animals. I don't quite remember what it was, but I just remember that like brief conversation, me overhearing that, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go play that. Let's go see what this is. And then it's it's small things like that I miss about.
Yeah, exactly.
Just jumping into
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, okay. So we talked about what you want to be different a little bit, what you want to be the same. So, in what ways do you see PlayStation Home being successful on the PS5?
In what ways? See, that's like, you could be successful in terms of in PlayStation's eyes or the gamer's eye.
Yeah.
In the gamer's eyes, I would say it would be successful if there was a solid player base and it was mostly the same as the same as the PS3 version, but obviously more enhanced with the VR features and there's a bunch more added content. But in like PlayStation's eyes, it'd be great as like an advertising tool.
Yeah.
Because like again, it's a way more engaging advertising tool, and then you have things like E3 again, which like I referenced in the BBC video as well, where it's like E3 was cancelled this year, so you didn't have that attention.
Right.
But if you had an online event like that in the game, it would bring way more attention.
For sure.
Yeah, it would be it would be successful. That. yeah. So that's my mind. It's like, do you have more?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if they did have like an E3, online type experience thing, like if they basically use that as like a, hey, if you don't have a fortune to go to California every year and like pay for a plane ticket and pay for this ticket to go to E3, you can go online. It's not, like the real thing, like, the real thing, quote unquote, but it's still cool. And
oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was like, I was like lagging for a second, and then like, because like you're like frozen on my screen, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, where'd you go?
I accidentally yanked in my Ethernet key.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like, I got it like awkwardly positioned at my feet now. And,
yeah.
I was trying to get comfortable.
No worries.
The
first thing I did with this, I lagged out, I lagged out of the conversation like mid thought, and I was like, oh my god. So then we had to like set something up for like 30 minutes later, and I was like, this is frustrating. But yeah, like having those E3 like spaces, that would be a really cool marketing mechanic for them. I think that would really like sell a lot of people on home.
And they could even, like, if they still wanted to make money off it as well, they could, like, because I think Blizzard with World of Warcraft and Overwatch and stuff like that, they offer like virtual tickets for BlizzCon. So like you could do something like that. Obviously not as extortionate as like an actual E3 ticket, but like, I don't know, £3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Something cheap like that, like an entry ticket. Or something,
exactly. Yeah, they could do that. Especially just like with how microtransactions these days are. Like, I want to advocate for microtransactions, obviously, but if I'm looking at it from a business corporate perspective, Home had that before. A lot of other things had it, so I feel like it would just be kind of natural now.
Yeah. That's why I was like, with Home coming back, it would just fit, perfectly in today's environment. With microtransactions
pretty well.
Yeah, people will probably be a bit voicey about like paying for cautions and things, but I don't know. Like, there would definitely just be a dedicated audience for it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you would be able to grab the old audience and some people that didn't get to experience it before. Because there are a lot of people that I see that are like, I never even heard of Home, but it sounds pretty cool. And I feel like with Sony, Home would be like I'm a big fan of like things that are regularly updated, right? Like things that feel like they don't just sit there. Like, you play. I say this with NBA 2K all the time. Like, I feel like after like a year, like the next game comes out, that's like, okay, this one that you have is just gone. But Home would be at that like one constant that would be updating, with new information. Just always changing to fit, like the season or whatever. Like, I feel like that would just be a really cool thing.
Yeah, and it would also be good as well, like, for people who just buy a PlayStation 5, and the first thing they do is like, oh, let's go into this free application, what's this? And then they find out about all these games. Like, it just seems like a perfect entry.
Right. Especially, like, with people getting, I've seen a lot of contention over the $70 first-party games that they're, like, up 70. People are not too happy about that. And it's like, well... It's not much consolation, but you got a free game that you could just hop into while you're waiting, Something to do on the PS5, a reason to buy it. Like we said at the beginning of the call, people are like, oh, well, I'm just going to wait until stuff gets cheaper than if most of it's going to be on PS4 anyway. They'd have a reason to buy a PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Home did come back, how would you advertise a new Home to people who didn't experience it in its first incarnation? Like, how do you think that you would describe that to people that didn't aren't familiar with it? Crack the knuckles, dude. Crack the fingers.
Have you experienced lockdown a bit too much? Are you looking for that key social experience you won't get anywhere else? Well, come to Home, where you can find your new home and talk to random strangers on the internet in a more professional and well-mannered way. And I was going to say well-mannered manner, but that doesn't... But yeah, like kind of like that, when it's like, It's the same sort of pitch that you would give someone to go play something like VR chat, or again like the other PSO clones that are not as popular.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like, hey, do you love these brands? Hey, do you want to talk about them, people? Hey, go on PlayStation Home and be in character. It's basically an interactive social
For sure.
sense. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
if you want something like that and you want a more personalized experience, go play this. It's nice, relaxing. Take your mind off work. Take your mind off everything else. Sit down, chill out, chat. Might meet the love of your life or something.
I've seen that. I've seen people saying like, "Yo, like I met my wife on here. I met my husband on here. We've been married for 11 years," and I'm like, "Go off."
Yeah,
like, that's sick.
Yeah.
So, one, that was an amazing pitch. I'm surprised that you were waiting for that just all day. You just whipped that out. Like, when's he gonna ask?
I love it. Like any excuse to get into like an advertising voice. Grabbing.
Well, Sony will definitely have to check this out, and they'll pick up a few tips from you. I'm sure. I'm sure they might even contact you. Who knows?
I email it.
Yeah, drop your email real quick. This is my business email if you want to contact me for voiceovers. Now seriously, dude, I'm thinking like I'm thinking about these other clones, and they're cool, and I definitely appreciate what they're trying to do. But I feel like without the PlayStation name behind it, because PlayStation has access to resources, they have access to collaborations, just to the brand in general, they have access to these IPs. That's what made it special, not just because otherwise we would just go play VR chat, like otherwise just go play VR chat, and that's what that is. But I feel like it has to be a PlayStation branded experience.
Yeah, it's either like, if you want a big experience like that, it's either you go to PlayStation or VR chat, because they both cater to their own individual like sort of audiences, and they're both unique enough that it's fun to be in. But when you take away, like, again, what you said, like the branding and the IPs and stuff like that of PlayStation Home, and strip it down to like near the bare bones, and that's essentially what Atom Universe and the other one was.
Avakin Life, Nebula Realms.
Oh, Nebula Realms.
Yeah, there are a few of them.
Yeah. But that, like, I remember playing Atom Universe, and I was like, it doesn't have the essence. It doesn't have the spice. It doesn't have that ingredient.
Doesn't have that spice.
It doesn't have that
Not really much spice in this.
This meal just tastes very bland.
You don't season your food. You just season this. Nah, seriously though, yeah. When you strip down to the bare bones, it's just kind of, it's just bland. That's the perfect word for it, I guess. Just not really too much there.
There was one sort of PlayStation Home game that I enjoyed playing, in Tower Unite. I don't know if you've
Tower Unite. I just heard about that like the last couple of days, but
yeah, I enjoyed that. It's like, it has a good bunch of mini games and things like that to it. It's got, again, sort of the essence of Home, but it is missing the branding and the IP stuff and all that. But I think it's unique enough that people enjoy it.
Yeah,
yeah, it's got a lot of fun. Yeah, it's got a casino.
It's got casino, dude. Now, can you imagine? Can you imagine though, like, just having like just bringing that back and just not gambling, but like just being able to play like like blackjack or just like cards, and just hanging out playing blackjack.
Yeah, that's what the Godfather 2 Casino was. Like, you didn't gamble with your money, you just gambled at points.
Yeah, like that would be dope. Somebody had a suggestion on the Twitter account yesterday or 2 days before. They're saying something about remove microtransactions completely, which I'm like, I don't know about that, because that's kind of like the income that they make from that. So I don't know about that. But he did have an interesting point about having some sort of like in-game currency point system. So maybe through like doing mini games, you get like points, right? And then maybe like you get a certain amount of points. I'm thinking like Fall Guys right now. How they have like crowns and whatever else.
Is very familiar to like free-to-play games where you have the in-game currency and then you have the premium currency which you pay for.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, that could be interesting if you want to try to balance that out.
But I think the main issue with those sort of currencies is that if they if they have the premium currency, usually the in-game currency is very grindy to get it, and you'll be sitting there for like hours on end, and then you afford like a pence.
Right. Right. No, you're totally right. Yeah, but hey, all ideas are interesting ideas nonetheless.
Yeah.
So as a content creator, do you have any thoughts on how home could synergize with the streaming community or the gaming content scene?
Yeah, it can definitely. The thing is, with streamers usually interact with their audiences via like Discord and stuff like that. But imagine, like, there's a lot of streamers I know who stream exclusively through the PlayStation 4 and then not via like a PC or anything. So you could organize like a group meeting or a group gathering or something like that, or like, oh yeah, come to Home Square right now, we can like meet the fans, and then we can go and voice chat and stuff like that and talk to each other.
That would be
like
sick.
Yeah, it'd be way more engaging for people that want to do like fan meetups and stuff like that, but not actually do a fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it kind of ties to the whole like lockdown thing again at the moment, where it's like, oh, we can't do this in real life, but let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, I was honestly getting kind of sad last night, but I was just thinking about, California, and, the West Coast, and just, like, this is just such an awful situation. The, like, sky is, like, red, it's like an apocalypse.
Fires, yeah.
Fires, yeah.
Yeah.
Fires. And it's just, like, it's so depressing to think about, people can't go outside. Like, I was watching some guy yesterday on YouTube, and he was talking about it, and he said, where I'm living, you go outside, you don't hear animals, you don't hear cars because no one's going around driving. It's just dead silent. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, like, if you're at that point where like you're on lockdown anyway, and now you just can't go outside because you can't breathe, like that's just so depressing. If I thought about it, and I was like, well, it'd be cool if you could have like, and this is such a little consolation in the grand scheme of that, but if you're like, it just made me think about how much it sucks to be stuck inside, and you would be able to have PlayStation Home or this application with plenty of maps, and you could just go in there and you could feel like you're in another world. You can feel like you're actually not getting out, but you know what I mean. Like
it's like a nice comfort zone.
Nice comfort zone. Yeah. Like I talked earlier on the second episode of this whole shebang, and we were talking about just like having like a nature scene or whatever, or just like just something nice and pretty to look at, and just to hang out and just like have you played Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah, no, I've not.
I'm sure you've seen it though, right? Have you seen it?
I've seen the gameplay of this stuff.
Yeah, so you see the environments. Like the environments are incredible. Like they just look awesome, and I'm just like, see, put me in that with VR, and I'd be happy. Like I would be happy.
Like, getting posed in the VR headset, it's like,
yeah, exactly. Like I would like if I'm trying to get into meditating, that would help me so much to get into meditating. That would just
luckily for me, in real life, I have like a 2-minute walk, and I'm already in a forest. So like I go there to like meditate when I'm in a certain zone,
Yeah. So. Well, I can do it in VR, so there you go. That would be another pitch. Do you want to meditate online?
Do you want to meditate with friends?
I'd love that.
Go to the forest.
Go to the forest.
Station.
That'd be so cool. I think this conversation keeps on coming back to VR. VR would be like such a great selling point for that, honestly. Being able to do these things in VR, like, or hell, even I talked about a carnival type of thing, like BioShock Infinite Fairgrounds, just that kind of concept in VR just expanded.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
That'd be dope. Like have like just carnival games or maybe even like you ever play Thrillville when you were younger? Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, the roller coaster one. Yeah.
Yeah, Thrillville. Imagine like just having like, because you had that park, you could just kind of go around and like ride rides. Like what if you had like a roller coaster on, in this area where you can just go on a roller coaster in VR. Just, again, we
put
just
your
have
head
VR.
down,
Yeah. Get sick and get motion sick and vomit.
Yeah.
That was awesome. But just
cool. I want to do that again.
Yeah, but just stuff like that. And
Yeah.
again, I'm just spitballing here now, but I think there's so much that you could do with that, and that loops back to where we talked about the showcase earlier. I feel like they need something, just something more, because I was watching it. It's great, but nothing I haven't really seen before.
Yeah, nothing really that has that uniqueness to it. Where I'm like, oh, this is next gen.
Yeah.
There's nothing really calling me about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Other than like, it's been 7 years. It's time to release a new console.
Yeah, that's what it essentially is. But it's like, oh yeah, we had a massive leap between the 360 and the One or the PS4.
Ooh, you're gonna call out Microsoft. Don't do that. They're gonna come.
Oh no, the console war will be brewing in the comment section. It will matter. Console war, that pointless. But yeah, it's like now it just sort of feels like you're having a gaming PC and you just have like, I just need to switch it apart. Well, that's what it sort of feels like with this console.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm blanking for a second. I was gonna ask you something. I'm blanking.
You've got me blanking too. Wonderful.
For Christ, it's contagious. You're contagious, man. I'll think about it. I'll ask you in a second. If this were an open letter to PlayStation, what message would you want to deliver to them?
I would say, in the light of this year, I think it's been pretty apparent how disconnected people can become very quickly. And giving people an alternative during a time like that, and even for people in general who are indoors, can give them like this comfort zone which they don't have in real life. I think that's really important for gamers, and I think that's really important what home was back in the day. So I think it is definitely today, like maybe not so much in the PS4, but definitely like right now is a great time to bring back platforming. 100%.
1,000%. Definitely.
Yeah, 1,000%. Give me
it. just give it to me. Just give it to me. Just pour it over even. And I did remember the question. So I did remember the question while you're saying that. To me, to me, I see this as a major opportunity for PlayStation. But there's a lot of criticism. There's a lot of criticism about the account that we run. There's a lot of criticism about really anybody that's advocating for home coming back or just saying, PlayStation, bring back home. People will dog them and go like, they won't do that. Why would they do that? That's a stupid idea. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to keep hope because when you express a hope like that and then people just kind of dog on you, it's like, well, one, what's the point? But two, it's like
nowadays, that's like the definition of 2020 is people being like, let's go to Twitter. They want to hear my opinion.
Exactly, you're right. You're definitely right. Let me go dunk on someone online.
And that's what they do. They go into the fucking Twitter search bar and they're like, keyword, and it's like, I found my prey.
Right. Exactly. But so what would I guess for me personally, my response to those people is I don't know, why settle, right? Why we know this is a cool concept. So why just go, yeah, you're right, that's stupid. They wouldn't do that because, when you think of the gaming industry and how far it's come, the gaming industry has always been defined by innovation, right? Yeah. It's always been defined by innovation. And now we're getting to this point where we're sort of plateauing in what we're doing. And it's why not do something that takes us to the next level? Something that has been done before, technically, but can be done so much better now. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are to people that might say, for example, a lot of the reasons is like, oh, home would bankrupt them. Home would make them lose money. All that type of thing. Home is just not a good financial choice for Sony. Like, what is your response to things like people that might be saying that?
If people say that, where it's like, oh yeah, home might not, or like might bankrupt them, or it's like, what's the benefit of having this? Just because it doesn't benefit you doesn't mean it won't benefit another player or another. In not in terms of like, well, in terms of revenue as well. In terms of revenue, like we've been talking about through the podcast, like there's many ways the PlayStation can innovate the way PlayStation is, and they can get a more consistent revenue stream from it. And yeah, it's like I don't really understand the whole the idea of it will bankrupt, because even back in the day, I'm pretty sure they were making a lot of money from it.
Yeah.
Maybe like server upkeep, but they were having other companies like makes. Like, there was literally dedicated companies making bases for them. So it's like I can't imagine them losing too much money.
Exactly.
And game maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
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 100% agree.
Yeah, like just because the game, like PlayStation Home, doesn't suit them and what they want, doesn't mean the community shouldn't get that game in general. Like, if I sat here and said, "Oh yeah, I don't want God of War 2," that doesn't mean, "Oh yeah, everyone else shouldn't get God of War 2 because I don't want God of War."
Right.
Because like one thing's getting made doesn't mean that other things won't get made. Process,
right.
Like, you'll still get your single player games. It's just this game was also there as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's not taking resources away from it.
Right. Yeah. I'm also just thinking like, I guess when people want to talk about like revenue and all that, it's been very because I've been trying to research like all the details behind Home's closing, and it's super hush hush. Like there's not a whole like there wasn't like an official like reason for it. So when people say, you got some people saying, "Oh, Home made a lot of money," you have people saying Home lost a lot of money, and so so no one can really come to an agreement on how much money they made, and I think Sony wants to keep it that way. But when I think about that, and I think about the value that Home provided. Millions of players, because at the time of it closed, it had like 41 million active users. So, I think about those people, and then I think about the people that would want it today. And I think as a business, and this might be something with business culture anyway. But even if Home were to be like, okay, maybe like this is not going to make a ton of money, right? Like Sony has so much income coming from literally everywhere, right? So you're not like, you will not lose significant money from like, and this is worst case scenario, right? This is worst case scenario. You will not lose that much money from implementing this, because you have so much money coming in from other places. And now with the PS5 coming out, you got $70 first party games. You got, and on top of how we've been heading into like, let's release half the game and then release the next half as DLC. Like with those practices, honestly, like, and people are still gonna buy it, they are. So like they're gonna be making a lot of money. So I feel like as a business, the goal should be to satisfy your audience, not necessarily to make that dollar sign go up, 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 I think that's one of the main things that people don't really have faith in, is that they think, oh, well, Sony just wants to make money. They don't care about the community. This would be a perfect way to show that they do care about the community.
Yeah, like, I think people are very, again, I think it comes hand in hand with the kind of times that we're living in, where a lot of people are very cynical, and they have sort of like a filter on like what's actually happening in reality. And I think most people look at game companies and are like, oh yeah, they're only in it for the money, or they're only in it for this reason, this reason. And not really. Like, obviously a money factor is in everything. Like, of course people want to make money doing what they want to do. But they like, you make something like Home because you're passionate about it. You make something about, like, again, I'm just going to God of War because it keeps coming to my head. You make something like that because you're passionate about it. You make something, so on and so forth. Like, you're making it because you are passionate about it, because you have the creative energy to make it. So
Right.
like, yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there as well.
Oh, well, passion defines the product.
Passion
Defines
the product.
Yeah. Well, that's
sorry, man. Let them know me world there for a moment.
Well, you're good. But that's definitely true. I mean, yeah, it's not always all about money. There are some times where, it does seem that way. And I will not say that there are not products that are about the money, because there definitely are. But to think that that's just like the norm but just go like, okay, well, yeah, we don't have to really, have any hope for anything else. It's like, come on, guys. This is the gaming industry. It's like literally what we're about.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, honestly, I wonder if they're even thinking about it. I keep on seeing that they renewed the home trademark. I've seen that a few times. I haven't actually seen proof of that myself. I just keep on seeing people share that around. But I do wonder, like, is there anybody over at PlayStation that thinks home was a really cool concept and we should consider that? Or if they just think anything of it, like, have they just completely forgotten about it? Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't say they probably forgot. It's probably like in the back of their minds where it's like, you could probably use this as a marketing platform at some point. Mm-hmm. Like, as a company, like, I'm thinking about this as a company sort of aspect. Like, again, just using it as like a market platform and get people buying PlayStations. It'd be great. Like, it'd be fantastic if they had that sort of game there. So, it should really... It might not be in their minds, maybe. Maybe that's not the direction they want to go in, possibly, but... I don't know. It'd be foolish if they didn't at least think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally think that this is a great opportunity for literally any brand. I'm just imagining any brand that has the opportunity to make their own world, their own virtual space, and like brand themselves or market themselves. I'm like, that sounds like a marketer's wet dream, to be honest, and you're just like gonna sit on it. But
Spider-Man space, Last of Us, like pushing the first party titles. Great.
Yeah. In recent years, they've had some really awesome exclusives. So I think being able to utilize that for sure, man.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll stop rambling for now. And I think that's all that we've got to talk about. Unless you have anything else that you want to talk about from your own standpoint.
I actually wanted to ask. I don't know if you've covered it or not. Have you covered the like restoration project of PlayStation Home?
Destination Home?
Yeah, Destination Home, yeah.
I think I've mentioned it before, and I there are a few tweets that I've put out and tried to promote them a little bit, but that's definitely an awesome project.
Yeah.
Goes over my head.
I got that downloaded, and I still have like my PS3 hard drive from years ago, still kicking about somewhere, and so I was hoping to like get in contact with some.
I mean, Nagatos Revenge is the one that I see posting all everything. So he is definitely he's somebody to get in contact with. He will talk to you. He messaged me the other day actually. Asking if I had a PS3, and I think I do have one around here somewhere. I don't remember where it would be, but I have to look for it. Yeah. But yeah, so if you would contact him on Twitter, he would get back to you probably in a heartbeat to meet that. Yeah, that project is like I said, it goes over my head. Like what you're doing is just insane. Like, I'm not a developer at all.
I was like, when doing research for the BBC video, I was like, this is insane. Like, what?
Yeah, that is like crazy.
I'd love to do a full video, like, even just have like a podcast with them or something like that, just talking. That'd be great.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that work.
Yeah, that's just insane. Especially just to think about like all the effort that goes into that. Because you love this thing so much and you're just trying to preserve it. Like, I mean, that's really inspiring, honestly.
Yes.
And I'm not really sure exactly what the plan. Like, they say that they're gonna release like an online version of it or something. Yeah. I don't know where that's gonna go exactly. So
I'm not too sure about that. I'm like, it seems like an ambitious idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it can be achievable, but I'm not really a technical person.
Yeah, I'm not either. So I literally don't even know. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, I know it runs in the PlayStation 3 emulator, and I know the Dolphin emulator, which GameCube and Wii stuff, that has a multiplayer aspect to it as well. So you can play people online and that.
Yeah.
So it is possible. It could be possible, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a dope project though, and I mean, I'm glad. Like, it's nice to see, you know, like people today like running around in PS home spaces. It's like, oh my god, it's 2020 and someone's running around at home. That's great. So that's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I reached out to Avakin Life. I think it was Avakin Life. I reached out to them, but no comment about what they're doing, because I was like, I guess, you know, I'm interested in talking to people like with like virtual spaces, you know what I mean, like virtual social hubs. It's like, you know, well, hey, like what are your thoughts on this? And I think Avakin Life has a few former PlayStation Home developers or something. I think that's what they said on their site. So that was pretty interesting.
I know Universe managed to get one of the spaces from PlayStation.
Yeah. Was it the Harbor Studio? Isn't that the space that they acquired?
No, it was the public space, but it's like floating islands and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
But
yeah, it had some little branding to it.
Was it the floating? Maybe I'm not gonna remember. It's like a little like cutesy thing. Is that it? Is that the cutesy island?
Yeah. It's like it was kind of like artsy sort of thing.
The name is, I'm blanking on the name, but I think I just wrote an article about it actually. Someone else said that was like their favorite space to go to.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about.
I was like trying to quickly Google it just to see if it was there. I was like, where is it?
Man, yeah, I don't remember that see, we've blanked on so many names. It's gonna bother the heck out of me.
Yeah, literally. Like I've got like Google tabs open to the side screen here. I'm like, need to try to find this out.
But if I figure it out, I'll definitely message you and go, it was this. It'll probably be like midnight tonight. I'll just be laying in bed and I'll be like, I gotta send a message to Kieren.
That'll be like 4 a.m. for me, so I'll just wake up like,
right.
Oh, right, okay.
So, I got it. Okay, why'd you message me? But all right, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, that's pretty much just on my mind, man. Yeah, pretty much. Thank you so much for having me on. This is awesome.
I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah,
it's always great to because you volunteered, so that made me feel really good, because most people don't volunteer. I have to go out and ask them. So showing interest in it made me feel like a big boy. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. So that was really nice. And I always like to plug people that come on the show. So I'm gonna plug you. So you have a YouTube channel called Bundicott, correct? Bundicott?
Yeah.
It's Bundicott. So you play some survival horror games. You stream. You make so you have to focus on documentaries too. So right now you're doing a Fallout series. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Make a primarily, because in real life I study/work in the TV industry. So I've been working and developing documentary ideas for the past while. So I released a documentary on Fallout 76 communities and that. Which is quite cool. It's a feature-length documentary, so if you have 2 hours to spare, you should go watch that. That's
for
awesome.
For sure.
But yeah, I make machinima content as well. Primarily right now on Fallout, but in the future in different backends. But yeah, the series I'm making now is hilarious. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense, and it's there for people who don't want anything to watch it.
I watched episode 3, the one that you guys had just released, and it reminded me of DBZ Abridged a little bit.
Oh really?
Yeah. So that's a huge compliment to you, but but it reminded me of DBZ Abridged, just like with the crazy dialogue and just, you know, that was funny. So I enjoyed that little 13-minute video.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching it.
Well, yeah, of course, man. And I think I watched a little bit of your Fallout 76 documentary too. I clicked off it eventually, but I watched a little bit of it, so I'll have to get back to the rest of it.
Well, I did confirm that I'm working on a PlayStation Home documentary as well, so that's
okay. Okay, well, I'll be on that. PlayStation Home. That's all I need to know, dude. Literally, if I'm on Twitter, at least a few times a day, I will search PlayStation Home and look up all the content that I can find on it. So I will eat that.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that sounds awesome, man. Well, all right. Well, if that's everything, we got your plug going. And do you want to give a little sign off for me?
Sign off. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is what was the podcast called again?
No place like home.
No Place Like Home. Right, watch No Place Like Home if you want a place like home, because home is pretty.
Home is pretty cool. All right. Well, well, thank you so much, Kieren, for talking to me, and I hope to catch you soon, and hopefully people will watch the content you put out. It's amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of No Place Like Home. We want to thank Kieren again for coming on and chatting for a while. This was a longer episode, but it was full of quality conversation, and we truly appreciate your time, Kieren. If you'd like to support Return Home PS5, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Return Home PS5, and be sure to visit our website at timetoreturnhome.com for more information. If you'd like to be a guest on No Place Like Home, you can reach us at our email address, info@timetoreturnhome.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and never forget that there's no place like home.